Hello, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Inspo Depot podcast brought to you by Insporeum Network. I'm Rizq, I'll be your host, and please enjoy this episode. Alright, good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are. Welcome back to another episode of the Inspo Depot podcast. Just like the previous episode, we are here in the All Is Amazing studio provided by them. So in case you guys don't know, they also provide commercial photography. You guys can come here, film your own podcast, all your commercial projects, all in this space. And if you like, just check up on them, allisamazing.com. And today, we have a very special guest. He was supposed to come for the previous season, but unfortunately, something's happened. We'll talk about that later. This person co-founded, I would like to say, seems like a creative agency, but it started off just as a fun activity on the weekend with friends. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Muzzamel Mazidee from TGTR.
Pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no worries, dude. Like, it's been long, dude, since season 1, kan. And then, what happened actually? I know, but let's tell the guests, let's tell our audience what happened.
So
actually.
I'll jump into that. So I was due to have this session back in, was it early
July,
August?
I think it was in July.
Was it end of July?
Yeah,
end of July. Yeah. And then after that, I got into what we call a cycling accident. You know how the trend is over in Malaysia right now. A lot of people are cycling, so I'm guilty of being one of it. So I was cycling from Shah Alam all the way to Skinchan and back supposedly. It was supposed to be a 200-kilometer journey. And then by the 95-kilometer mark, I was passing through just the paddy fields. It was a trunk road. And then unfortunately, the roads were uneven. So I got into a crash and then basically I flipped over. Little that I realized that I had cuts all over my face. All my friends were still continuing their journey. On that day itself, I just got admitted to the hospital, had to stitch up my face. So it's all looking good now. So I got to thank my doctor for that. So I was out for a whole month from work basically. And then after that, got back into cycling back again. So basically, that's the story why we had to postpone.
The fact that it was just one day before the actual recording, he was like, Rizq, I can't make it tomorrow. Why? And then he sent me the selfie of cuts everywhere. I'm like, what the fuck happened, dude?
Yeah. So because I was like, oh no, I mean I have the podcast tomorrow. I have work tomorrow, meetings and everything else. No. Gotta let you know first. But glad to be here today. Yeah.
Alright, let's talk about TGTR. I think it goes way back. I think 2014, 2013, around that time, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Let's be honest. At that time, I was still in school, and me and a few friends, right? We were we knew Ibrahim first.
Correct. Yeah.
Then we knew about you. Yep. So Ibrahim, you guys don't know, he's the co-founder alongside with Muzzamel. We knew Ibrahim because of the videos that he made, and then we were like, oh shit! After we finish school, we have to join them for drives and all. And then little did we know that after school, I started off making videos. And then that's how I get to know Ibrahim first.
Yep.
And then from there, then I get to know you. And all these things come together lah. But back to about TGTR, how did it all started?
So I think it's more appropriate for me to tell you guys about what TGTR really is at first. So it all started with me getting into cars at first. I think it was 2014. I was just going into degree. I was in a pretty rough shape before that. So I just needed something to just occupy my time. So I got along with a few friends who were into cars. So we started driving around KL. I started going up to Genting. And then there's a back road called Uluyam. And then soon I realized hey, this is fun. And then I see a lot of people doing it as well. Then when I went into degree, one of my batchmates actually is Ibrahim. So brilliant guy. At first, I didn't know that he was into cars, but it was one of the things that we talked about at first. And then I had one project I had to do, which was recording a video talking about passion at first. So I was like, hey, Ibrahim, why don't you come with me? Let's just do a shoot. I'm not the person that is much more involved in doing shooting and everything else. I like planning, but I'm not much of an executioner when it comes.
Like a creative on ground lah.
Yeah, not on ground. I like doing the ideas up in my head, trying to plan it out, but not want to actually implement it when it comes to recording and everything else. So I called him up. We went to do this particular project for uni. And then
was that involving cars as well?
Yeah, it was involving cars. So after that, it was a shitty video at first. It was shot on GoPro and everything else. But Ibrahim edited it, so I passed my
saved it lah.
I passed because of that. So
thanks, Ibrahim.
I have to thank him for that. But I see the value in that because a lot of people are very more passionate about driving cars, adrenaline, and everything else. So we started this WhatsApp group, and then invited a few friends. I was like, hey, why don't we go for a Tuesday morning drive up Genting? I think about 12, 13 cars came along, and then I mean, just on a side note, we drove quite not the best manner, in the best manner. It's quite endangering, but over the time we learned on how to drive properly as well up Genting. So because of that, a lot of people started getting noticed. Like, hey, we posted pictures up on Instagram and everything else, and then I thought, hey, why don't we do this more often then? So in one of the drives, when we went up to Genting, a few more friends joined in as well. And then, so a bit backstory. Driving up Genting, driving up through these mountains, there's a Japanese term to it that's called tuge. So it's called mountain passing. And then some guy just sent a picture inside the group, like a meme. It was one tauge. So one bean sprout, and then a lot of tauge together. It's called taugether.
Yeah.
So I'm like tauge, tuge. That's a correlation.
It's kind of like the same.
So it was funny. So I was just like, we just named the group taugether, and then together after that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, let's just name this WhatsApp group this. But I figured out, why don't we add like a bit of a creative twist to make it seem a bit cooler?
Yeah.
So I just shortened the name to just TGTR.
Yeah.
And then after that, whenever everyone comes to me, I was like, what's TGTR? What's TGTR? Oh, it's just TGTR. I don't want to tell the backstory because it's quite long.
Yeah.
But we see it as a collective, right? A collective of passionate people who loves driving. And then we take no profit from it. It's not a business whatsoever. Then I think a few years down the line as well, when we incorporated TGTR into a NGO, we see the value of doing other things, of creating drives, creating events, how we can extract the value, how we can deliver the message out to the public as well.
And why was the move to incorporate TGTR as a NGO instead of a Sdn Bhd or a enterprise?
Yep. So every year, last time every quarter actually, back in 2014 towards 2017, I would say, that we would do this drive. It's called the morning shift. Some morning drive consisting at first about 20 to 30 cars. And then after that, it grew exponentially. So I think the last one, part 5 of morning shift.
That was the last one.
Yeah, I would say that's the last one, but also the most legal one as well.
Okay.
I'll get into that. It's because we hit at the right time of the community, right? Back then, our target market was about kids out of high school, kids in uni, or maybe just out of uni as well. So the only thing that they could express their hobby, whatever they're passionate about, is through cars maybe, right? And then I realized that I wanted to create something diverse, in which, this is why I use the word passionately diverse with TGTR as well, is because you have a lot of people driving certain different types of cars, from either continental cars, Japanese domestic market cars, Malaysian cars like Myvi and Satria and everything else. If you look back, a lot of clubs, car clubs, they focus on one specific brand.
Correct.
Right? BMW, Honda Club, Satria Club, everything else.
Myvi movement.
Yeah, great clubs by the way. But we rarely see something that unifies them all together, right? I want to build a community in which I don't care what car you drive. I don't care if it's your mom's car. You come here because you're passionate about something. Doesn't matter if you don't have little knowledge about anything else. You come here, you enjoy the event or the drives, the community, then you learn and you have something to take back, right? So I was like, okay, we kept doing this drives, and to one point it was over, I would say 120 cars. We had to split the routes. I had to.
That was both, right? Both from Kara and as well.
Yeah. So the drive was normally towards Genting, and that's normally a dedicated parking lot. So I have one person leading another group. So we had a lot of groups, maybe one group about 20 cars. So we had to split it into six or seven groups into 2 routes. So when we dealt with that particular event, then a friend came to me. I was like, hey, did you get permit for this?
Oh shit.
Yep. And then, are you guys registered? Anything else? And then it got me thinking. I was like, oh, yeah, maybe I need to legalize everything else. So the decision was to not create a Sendirian Berhad, because for me, I don't think I'm going to take this as a job first, right? It's something that I love to do, but I don't want to take a toll on me, that I have to put a lot of effort and then I drain out. I get burnt out of what I'm passionate about. So I took the easy way out, just incorporate it as an NGO. And then I call it an automotive NGO when I talk to people as well. And then at least it gives a bit of leeway. So the structure is just between me, Ibrahim, as the creative director, and a few members that can always help out when it comes to doing these events and etc. Some good with finance as well, so when it comes to the company's accounts. So it really helps. So after that, after we've done with the whole registrar of societies, the last event that we did had a few friends that came in to help. So we got legal approval from Genting itself to use the grounds for Good Vibes, the parking lot for Good Vibes. And then I got the permit from, I think, the police, I think on the Gombak side, if I'm not mistaken. And then they were very happy to help, right? I was so happy for that event because everything was so legal. We had Rayla coming in, right? And then Genting was happy for us to utilize the particular spot as well. And then during that period of time, we were selling stickers for cars and everything else.
I remember.
All of those proceeds, I went back to just bought like snacks and all, and then just gave it out to the people during the drive, because there's not much of profit for me and my team. It's much more about giving back to the community. Yeah.
I still remember that drive. I wanted to go, but I think I was a few of my friends, we were like, I don't think we are like qualified per se.
Yep.
They were quite intimidated to go. So I'm like, shit.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of people, because we started from Instagram actually. And that's where we posted videos, pictures, and everything else. And then during the same time as well, it was when No Equal, another.
You guys kind of like grew together?
Yeah, we grew together. So a backstory about No Equal is that they're much more of an automotive media house now, more towards the community as well. And then
shout out Khalis.
Yeah, shout out to Khalis as well. Really great guys, really great team. I think they're doing a lot of the automotive community over in Malaysia as well. So we grew up at the same time, I think about 2014. They're much more towards photography, getting the right content, everything else. That was their focus because they came from the media background as well. As per us, is that we just wanted to do drives, and then luckily and fortunately enough, that Ibrahim was very into doing videos. Yeah, he was doing videos, doing content. When we shot this content, of course, we wanted to take the best cars, everything else, just to please the people, just to attract the people to come and support us as well. And then I get DMs coming in. I was like, hey, I drive this car. Can I join? hey,
Guess I was one of them.
Yeah, what's the criteria, everything else? Do I need to purchase a sticker, then I can join? There's a fee. I was like, no. It's like, look, just come to this rendezvous point, and then we all go together, right? But because we're looking at a large crowd, right? I mean, of course, I don't have the time to actually go and talk to these people and everything else. I'm more of a behind the scenes kind of person. I plan it out. Ibrahim is always up front recording videos, so people think that TGTR is him. And I like that fact because it gives him as the front end persona to TGTR, right? Creates these videos, creates these memes, cool content, and not a lot of people know about me at the back end, which I'm fine.
Which I was surprised also because I thought it was him only on TGTR at first until I found out about you later on.
Yep. Yeah. So I like the chemistry on that because he fronts it, I work on the back, and then there's a synergy there, right?
And you're comfortable being at the back as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like the planning, even after the whole drive and all, we shifted to a different kind of aspect of what we do. Started doing videos for brands, started following our national athletes to international drives and also locally as well.
You started off as making it as a passion lah, basically. Yes? But like, my question to you now, I followed my passion and then it became a business. But like for you all, like how far can passion take you?
There were certain points in which we think that our passion could actually be monetized into a business, in which, in small parts, yes, we were in the right time of this particular hobby, I would say, this particular trend, and then we were able to seize it by selling merchandise, I would say, right?
Stickers,
and then after that, Ibrahim, as the creative director, he started doing these videos in which attracted
eyeballs
other medias, I would say. And then after that, in which the spillover went to the manufacturers, the brands. So we were very fortunate enough to work with companies like Continental, through
Volvo,
through Horizon, so Volvo, Lexus as well, and then that really was exciting for us. I was like, look, we finally made a big breakthrough to these companies, to these brands, and I think we can go further than this as well.
And you guys didn't intend to have it that way. It was just started off as drives.
Yeah, I mean,
for fun.
I would say that when you're passionate about something, it keeps you driven, right? It drives you forward, and then whatever that goes along the way really motivates you to do something more. If you like something, you excel at it. Doesn't matter if it takes a long while or not. There's always opportunity along the way that people will realize, like, hey, you're really good at this. Like, why don't you do something about it? I think that really applies to what we did as well. I guess fate had its way as well. So when I went to Europe with one of my friends, I met with Jasmine, right? And then with Jasmine, we spoke about cars and driving, everything else. And then I pitched him like, look, let's boost your presence over in Malaysia. Let's let people know more about what you're doing in your career for all Malaysians to know as well. So I think in 2017, we ended up going to Belgium. So me and Ibrahim, we went to Belgium to document Jasmine. And then after that, a year later, we went to Le Mans, France, to document Le Mans 24 Hours, which is the most prestigious race in the world. So coming from where we started as just doing drives, up until that point, reaching the pinnacle of motorsports and being involved in it was something beyond what I imagined, right?
Nothing that you imagined when you started off in school, again.
Yeah, so a lot came into mind. I need to know whether this can be a business, this can be a business model or not. How does it affect my team? Can my team commit as well? So there's a lot of questions that goes into it. In all ways, we need to find just a method to make sure that whatever that we do is sustainable for our future, so we can just drive forward as well. I think after we did Le Mans 24.
You guys went for WEC as well, okay?
Yeah.
After that? Yeah.
So that's basically WEC, World Endurance Championship. After that, I just told Ibrahim, I was like, look, it's not I'm not passionate about this anymore, but when you're at the peak, it's rather that we stop here and then just continue doing what we do. So we went on with our separate things, but we left our passion at its highest point, so at least people will be remembered. Like, look, you guys did a great job. There's no downfall after that. Enough. Yep.
Is there a reason why? Like, memang you guys, okay, why the fuck am I speaking Malay? Do you guys just leave not to, maybe there's no way for you guys to add on to it? Or is it because, like, you know what, that's enough, we had our fun, let's live our big boy life now?
It will always be a part of me. TGTR will always be a part of me. I love doing what I do, what I did before as well. But we need to realize what really gives us the security in the future as well. I wasn't seeing that in TGTR.
Okay.
And then it was much more of passion project from most times as well. Because of that, so when we did the last video for Le Mans 24,
was that the last video?
Basically, I think that was I would say the last paid project video.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. Wait. Was it?
I believe so. If it was the biggest one, that was the one. And then it was shown, I think, for the Malaysia Motorsports Award by Petronas, and then our previous Prime Minister Tun Mahathir was there to actually witness it as well.
Wait, let me get this right. Was that the Le Mans one, or was that
Le
the
Mans.
WEC?
Yeah, Le Mans and WEC is the same.
Yeah, because I thought because Le Mans they didn't finish, didn't it? 24 hours they didn't finish.
They did.
Huh?
They did.
I thought they finished the one that they finished second and third.
So Le Mans 24 hours is that because that was the boys were in the Jackie Chan racing team,
correct.
right? Started out bad. The car had problems. Towards the end, after 24 hours, they finished in top 10.
Oh, okay.
Right. For me, it was a feeling that I cannot really describe, because I was there to witness and also document this historical moment. So having that moment being shown to the previous Prime Minister, to me, it was an achievement altogether. I was like, look, this is the peak of what we performed, what we contributed back to the nation, being able to show the country, like, look, this is what we were able to do. This is what your athletes were able to do.
Correct.
This is what Malaysia can do.
This is what your creatives can do as well.
Yeah. So for me, that was fun. And then fulfilling. I was so content after that. Then I was thinking back,
that's enough.
That's enough. What's next? And of course, there were a lot of pressure coming on from my parents, my peers as well.
Yeah.
Like, look, what do you want to do after this?
That's true.
Are you going to get a stable job? Are you going to do something about this? I was like, okay, fine. So now I'm inside a tech startup over in Singapore, actually.
Okay.
I'm heading
Are you the country head here? Or?
Yes, I'm the country head for Malaysia, and I'm also the director of partnerships for this particular company called UIB. So we're a WhatsApp partner as well. So we sell chatbots, produce chatbots and all. I guess tech is always
somewhere there,
sustainable for the future sake as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You guys start off being passionate with cars, and then it became something too big to handle, basically. How would you? Because I'm doing videos, and then you guys pun buat video kan. And why am I keep on speaking Malay? But like, how would you suggest other people to just, they like something, I'm sure, but like they don't want to do it because, as you said, certain passions, they are not sustainable, they are not stable, and they just don't want to start because they don't want to waste their time on it. and then that passion just dies
That's
without even trying.
Yeah, so that's a very contradicting argument in most people I meet nowadays. I mean, they're passionate about something, but some passions do burn out, right? But some passions that they really find a way to build a sustainable model around it. I'll give you a perfect example, right? So if you're very familiar on Twitter, on Instagram, so there's this guy by the name of Khairul Aming. So
mobile photographer, is it?
no, so Khairul Aming, he's a chef, a home chef.
Okay, I don't know.
So he keeps doing this recipes all over, especially during MCO, quick 1 minute video, doing these recipes, and then he's very passionate about it. Great content, loves cooking, he's very passionate about it. But at the same time, he was working, if I'm not mistaken, with Petronas.
Oh, okay.
Right? So he had a corporate job, but on the side, he was pushing his passion of doing a lot of passionate content for cooking, right? For food. And then recently, I found out that he was not part of corporate anymore. He was doing this full time, and he just made this product which is called sambal nyet.
Oh, okay.
Okay, it was selling for like 14 ringgit, 13.90, for all I can remember. He was selling on Twitter. But because he built a brand around it himself, because he was so passionate about himself, he created good content, and then people believed in him for what he did because he was so passionate about it. In 54 minutes, when he launched that product, 10,000 units were sold out.
Oof.
And to me, it was so captivating to know when people were so passionate about something that they created a plan ahead, what they can do with whatever they're passionate about, it can be so fruitful as well. Right? So I think that's the takings from this is like, know what you like to do it with your whole heart, right? And then see if it can be one. I think whether it can become your job or not is really up to you. But just keep believing in yourself that you're doing this for the sake that you really believe and you love doing what you do. And I think the things that you take, the products, I would say the end product will really show as well.
But what about those people that just take their passion or hobby just to kill time, and like they like to do it.
Yeah.
They hate their jobs, but like they don't even try to monetize that hobby.
It's still fine. I mean, doesn't mean that you have to. I mean, we live in a world where we think that people is just going to capitalize on every single opportunity, right? That isn't the way as well. Some people has a very, I would say, entrepreneurial mind that is able to do that.
Yep.
But some don't. Some just do it for the sake of they love doing what they do. Let's say, for example, if you're working in corporate and then you're a corporate slave working from 9 to 5 and maybe extra hours after that, and then you'll be like, shit, I hate my job. I'm so stressful about my job. I don't have time to do anything else. But maybe in that 1 hour of spare time, you might pick up a hobby. Doesn't matter, because especially in this period of time, people are stuck at home and everything else.
Yeah.
They find things to do. People can pick up either learning how to edit a photo, doing videos. They can go out like me, maybe start cycling.
Can start a podcast.
Yeah, start a podcast as well. But because you put your heart out to do something that you love doing, it psychologically it release this endorphins back, right? There's
the
all the
dopamine,
dopamine and everything
shit,
else. This good chemicals back to yourself, right? And then after that, you look back, okay, maybe being corporate slave is still bearable because I can still juggle with my hobby.
That's true. At least there is some point that you don't turn that passion and hobby into stress, because that's also kind of like what happened to some people, because like, oh, I like doing this, but like it's giving me shit all the time as well.
Yeah, I mean, most people I talk to was like, I really want to quit my job kind of thing, right? And then, but they think back, I was like, but if I quit my job,
how am I going to pay all these bills?
Yeah, I'm going to pay my commitments. Am I going to disappoint my family, my peers, everything else? Some people have a lot to lose. Some people don't. So it really varies, right? It's not a one size fits all to most people. You really need to understand the situation that you're in, what can bring you forward to survive in the future, can make you sustain whatever commitments that you have. And on the second end is that what drives you forward in terms as a human being of your own personality. Can you find a true thing that you're able to do without people having to have control over us all?
Okay. Let's go back to TGTR. Right?
Yep.
You guys went from just two guys and then it became like a full-on community.
Yep.
I think on Instagram now you guys will have what, 12k, 15k, around that size, right? Quite big lah, right? More than 10k.
I forgot.
Yeah.
I probably
he hasn't been there for a while.
Let me check
Okay.
back. Yeah, let me check.
But where I was going with it, right, is that the spillover effect that you guys had.
Yeah.
I remember at the time 2014, I was still in school. We saw Ibrahim came out with several videos.
Yeah.
And then, oh shit, I loved it. In fact, it made us like want to leave school, have our driver's license as fast as possible, so that we can join for the drives. But and then as time goes by, I don't know how, somehow like the universe put us together, and then we met, and then we became friends.
Yeah, I met you because of Ibrahim.
Because of work as well, right? Yeah. And then I remember also at the time it was only TGTR and No Equal that promotes this particular niche.
Yep.
And then from there, I don't know what happened. There has been more and more freelancers. There's been more and more companies that came up that is working within the same niche.
Yep.
Like, how do you intend? Like, was there any intention to like push this into the spread out the niche?
So we're talking about the spillover effect, right? So.
And how does it affect like other industries or hobbies, niches and all?
So it goes back to capitalizing on what you have, going to the niche that you're in as well. Yeah. So we're talking about automotive, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about this hobby of people driving. A lot of people drive, right? Everyone drives, mostly. And then they're so passionate about modding their cars, driving the way that they do. They enjoy everything else. So I'm like, okay. And then when I talk about being passionately diverse as well, I want to bring everyone together, regardless of their demographics and everything else.
Correct.
I don't care about your age. I don't care about what car you drive. As long as you're passionate about something, let's come together. So we utilized one of the best social media during that time, 2014, was Instagram.
And Facebook also at the time for you guys, yeah.
Yep. So right now, Instagram, I think we have about 18k followers.
You just checked?
Yeah, I just checked. 18.2 to be exact. And then I think Facebook was roughly about the same figure as well. Now, why Instagram was the right time was because everyone was either out of school, in uni. No one wants to look at the assignments. They were on their phones 24/7, right?
Correct.
So that was the best way for us to deliver our content, right? Because people were on their phones. And then we started figuring out ways on how to promote our content, taking pictures of cars that we see on the streets. Ibrahim doing videos. And then after that, when we do events, No Equal was a part of it as well. Then they take pictures of a lot of cars in the events. We deliver the value in which brings people a sense of belonging. So because when they see their cars or themselves being in this content, it's like, hey, I feel like I belong here. I feel like I'm a part of something that's bigger than what people think, right? And that gives people a morale booster. Then they gather their friends coming here and there. And after that, got out of hand because for me, I couldn't manage the whole thing. But the best part was Ibrahim started doing videos using GoPros.
Yeah.
Maybe I was recording using my iPhone. And after that, we moved to shooting on cameras, proper cameras as well. With that in mind, we see more content coming out, more people being involved, and a lot of people just pulling in. And then people realize, oh, why don't we start something similar as well? So we see the rise of a lot of car groups as well, right?
Yep.
Almost similar structure, having diverse cars, diverse people as well. So I think within that year of 2014, 2015, I saw like more than 10 groups on Instagram.
That grew after you guys?
Yeah. I would say that what we did was not new, but we capitalized on what the social media had to offer, right? So after that, we see the rise of people doing videos as well,
Correct.
trying to follow Ibrahim.
Me.
Yeah.
I'm one of him. I'm
So-
guilty of that.
So during this drive as well, then people started realizing, the automotive sector is something that they can capitalize on,
Correct.
right?
And also most of the time, that sector
Yeah.
is always related to like violence lah, like you don't follow the rules and shit like that.
I mean, people look at movies such as Fast and Furious, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they
have
want
a
to feel,
negative-
they want to
they
feel
have a-
something like that. It's adrenaline rush, right?
Yeah, because just bow your head, become Vin Diesel lah.
Yeah. So when you see this community growing as well, and then some people started being more creative out of it, right? In the car scene, maybe I can get certain connections, in which I did. Honestly, Khalis of Nuiko, he was someone that I was very admiring. He had this Instagram called The New Addiction, in which he posts like really cool cars and everything else. And then we got together because of this niche community,
Right.
And then now we're friends.
Became friends.
And then we started things together as well. So this is replicated to the other people who were involved in our events of what TGTR produced as well, right? So people started creating connections, people started doing videos, people started taking pictures, people started doing their own businesses as well. And
out of this.
yeah, so
niche.
out of this niche, right? And that's the spillover effect that we're talking about, right? And I hope that some people, when they think about their careers now, so let's say if looking at you, you start out as a videographer and everything else, and what you've built today, right? If I had played a small role in that part of making you get into videography and making a career out of it, I'm good.
Which you did. Yeah.
So what moves me forward is to touch people's lives and create a change that will affect their future as well. In a good note, right? In a good note. So
Which rarely what most people think. They just think about themselves most of the time.
yeah, I mean, you need to think about yourself and everything else, but it's always a good feeling when you're able to
Impact
leave,
lives,
leave an impact on certain people's lives and see that it really grows, right? Until now, Ibrahim is still doing videos for cars.
Correct.
It's part of a
What car now?
I think a WAP car, a media
It's
entity.
Zamil.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zamil. He did that Joker punya video.
Yep.
That went viral, I think, in one of the biggest car pages in the
Yeah, it
world.
was Car Throttle. Yeah, Car Throttle. Yeah.
And with that video was damn good. I think Ibrahim was quite itchy lah on that one.
Yeah.
It's been a while since he last made that video. So
Yeah, so I think I had to be really thankful was that I had a good partner. Right? Although in fact that I could just really just call myself as a founder of TTR, I felt that it was not right not to give that privilege to my partner as well. So we both
which created like the face, the front.
Yeah, so we
and
both
stuff.
co-founded TGTR. You need to give credit to people where it's due,
Correct.
right? And then only that they will commit back to doing whatever that you want to do as well.
Let's say I make car videos as well, and for those of them, in case they are listening, right? What would you say? Like, how far can the content go? Like, how far can it go? Like, you guys have made videos for Jazman. You guys made videos for essentially that racing team per se,
Yeah,
right?
so we're talking about
So,
that, yeah.
like, how far else can their others go?
You need a solid ground of a team you work with, right? So first, regardless whether you're a videographer, you're a photographer, you're a good editor, everything else, but who's the good planner, right? Who can drive forward? Who can start talking?
Who's the visionary, essentially?
Who can be the producer in which they can talk to the people, can start creating these business ideas, can do the storyboards and everything else to pitch to your clients, to your prospects as well, right? And from there is getting back to your team. Like, look, can you guys deliver this? Can you guys extract the most out of it as well for us to impress this prospects? So
That's how you communicate the brief and all.
yeah, so I wouldn't say that you need to have the same vision as your team, but you need to be stern to make sure that they know that whatever that we're doing is for our client as well. But there are mixed arguments about this, right? Let's say if you're a niche community doing car videos or anything else, and then you have a specific style in which you always do.
Correct.
And then you might be familiar with that style. People might know you for that style. But then when it comes to the client, I want this and that, it goes out of your style.
Correct.
Right. So you have to being able to balance and communicate back with your team and see if the client really knows you for what you do, gives you the creative leeway to do what you do, all good, all fine.
But is that also like they hired you because you're convenient? Or is it because they hired you because of your style?
I would say in fact.
Yeah, we gotta go to that mama conversation there, bro.
To be frank, they hired us out of convenience.
Okay.
Right? They see a couple of young guys doing videos and everything else, right? We don't have to pay much, get good content, which is currently trending now.
Yeah.
We push it out to market. We make the big
buck.
We make the big buck by selling a
more
lot.
Cars.
But when we hire these two guys, we don't have to pay them that much. Yeah.
Bullshit, right?
So there's a lot of lowballing that happened during our time as well. But I really push for us to be treated how everyone
properly lah.
Yes, properly, right?
Treated as professionals lah.
Treated as professionals. We have to present ourselves as professionals as well, right? So we had to shift the way that we think, we talk, how we structure the business as well. And then only we can see certain fruitful things come to life as well.
When we talk about that, right, in terms of like how you present yourself when it comes to a team, what if you had a teammate that was like quite playful, childish, and quite... How do you tend to move forward to like sit down and talk? Hey, look, we are doing this professionally. I don't want them to seem like we are cheap and stuff. How do you communicate that back to your partners, to your teammates?
Just moving back to experience, right? So Ibrahim is not the one to actually talk to the client so much, right?
He's damn quiet fella lah.
I'm the one fronting to the client. Ibrahim does well at the back doing his work, but his work
is in front.
Is in front, yeah, it's in front. Whereas I front
on the other way around.
On the other way around, on the business side of things.
But on socials, you're like...
on the back, correct, yeah.
I didn't even know you were in the TGTR at the start, so yeah.
Yeah, so how you communicate back with your team is really important. So first is that you need to have a visionary, you need to have an objective, and you need to know how to communicate and extract the best out of your team as well, right? And I'll be frank, in my time when I was dealing with TGTR, I think my percentage of my take is lower than Ibrahim's because I valued the work that he did because it drives us forward.
Correct.
Right?
The weight lah, basically.
Yeah. So it's like if you're in a restaurant, right? I would say if you're in the F&B business, you as the owner and then you hire a chef. And then probably that you as the owner, you take more than what the chef does at certain time when it's starting early. The chef's going to think like, I'm getting paid this much. But
to put you on the map.
To put you on the map, everything else. So you need to recognize the people that you work with, right? You need to give them an incentive to actually strive and thrive as well. I pay Ibrahim what he deserves. I get what I think that I should deserve as well. And then we move forward. And then we excel when we work with certain parties. So that's how it worked.
Essentially, you become the bridge, right?
Yeah, so
between the two,
I would say I'm always the middle person to communicate through what the client wants, what the client changes, everything else. I have to think back whether this is taking out Ibrahim's time or not.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why in creative side we always have amendment credits, right?
Correct.
So I have to tell the client like, look, you have this amount of credits if you want to make changes. And then if you want to do so, let us know beforehand and a list, proper list. So that's how we worked. There were certain parts where I think client was really asking for a lot of things and then we didn't know how to handle back then. And then after that, we knew how to. When I went separate ways with Ibrahim, so he went to do his what he did before. And then I went to a different side of the corporate side of world. So I think he was dealing with a particular client in which there are a lot of changes, right? But he knew how to charge them back for these changes because
from the lessons he learned.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like time is the most valuable asset that you cannot get back, right? Money, you can always gain money, but time is something that you cannot get back. The time you invested in just making those client changes and everything else, and then they go back and forth. If it's not charged, then what's the matter with you?
Correct.
Right?
Muzzamel,
Yep.
thank you so much for your time.
No worries, thank you for having me.
But before we end, I would just like to say again, thank you so much to All Is Amazing for providing this space.
Great space.
It looks damn nice, right?
Yeah, no,
Actually,
yeah.
it looks very
I was so
beautiful.
surprised. There was a sudden change of location.
Yeah, because originally it was supposed to be at our place, like the previous, where you see in the previous season. But like last minute, we got into contact with All Is Amazing, and then they were happy enough to provide us this space, lah.
Yeah, awesome space. Always heard of All Is Amazing. Never knew where they were. But I think today I know now.
Before we end, I'm just going to do several rapid fire questions with you.
Sure.
So it's just going to be 3 things, blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yep.
Name me 3 leaders that you want to meet.
Can I say Gordon Ramsay?
Yeah.
Yeah, Gordon
Doesn't
Ramsay.
have- okay.
Gordon Ramsay. Why? Have you seen him in the kitchen?
You want him to call you a bitch?
Yeah, no, dude. Great leader. I think I was watching House
But his
Kitchen.
approach is a little bit too rowdy, lah.
He gets the job done.
Okay.
Yeah, he
that's
gets
true.
the job done.
Maybe for a white side, lah, huh?
Yep.
Here, you lose your employees, lah.
And I think if I were to say Elon Musk, I know you would like it.
Yep.
Right? But I think there are a few in the tech world, a few in the business world that I would love to follow. One of it in Malaysia, I would say, is Tan Sri Mota.
Okay.
Really great visionary. Another one, I think, would be my dad. Shout out to him.
You see him every day, lah.
Yeah, see him every day, but he taught me the principles of being a leader of the family. I think that's most important, actually.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, heartfelt, lah. 3 hobbies that you would like to pick up or already have picked up.
Yeah, so I got into cycling.
That's why he fell and didn't come to our first season,
So
lah.
for those who hates those cyclists out there, I'm really sorry on behalf of the cyclists. So I would love to edit videos.
Okay.
To be honest.
Do you want to edit your phone podcast this one?
No, yeah, I would love to learn Premiere, Final Cut Pro, and everything else. I think it's a good skill to have.
Is there a reason why? Or why would you say it's a good skill to have? I mean, I think Photoshop is much more transmedia.
I use Afterlight a bit, but not to an extent, I would say. But I think when it comes to videos, it's capturing memories and then delivering it the way, when you edit it, delivering it the way that how you want to tell the story to the people as well. Yep.
Okay.
I think last one, I think good skill to have, a good thing to pick up is a lot of cooking recipes. Yeah, I would love to do
Didn't
that.
expect that coming from you.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay cooking.
Yeah.
Okay, last one. 3 communities that people, our audiences, should know about.
Just broad? Oh, that's a tough one, actually.
That's why I put this last, lah.
How do you want to define a community?
Anything with a lot of people working towards the same vision or goal.
Rather than saying community, I would say purpose. The purpose for these communities, I think. Yeah, I think now when we see a lot of organizations leading towards equality, it's great. A lot of these communities are giving them awareness. I cannot pinpoint to one community because I know that there are a lot of people doing the same thing. And I think purpose-driven is also giving a shout out to most of the media agencies, media creative talents, and everything else, speaking about them, like what you're doing as well. I would say more than just a brand. I think you're developing a community as well for people doing what you do. And I think the last one, I think is more towards niche hobbies, to be honest, right? Like what I did with TGTR, with cars, everything else. There are a lot of more communities out there. Shout out to all of them, to be honest.
Do you want to say anything about Rafa?
I'm part of a Rafa cycling club as a community, worldwide, but I'll save that for another day.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do you have anything that you want to say?
Yeah. So thank you so much.
Where can they find you and all? Yeah.
I'm on Instagram. My name is Muzzamel, Muzzamel. So you can just find me there. If you want to look at TGTR, it's @_TGTR. So we have an archive since we're not that active anymore. So we have an archive over there. But I
Like a
think
museum right now.
yeah, but I think just want to shout out to all of you guys over here, the team today. Great job.
They're all saying thank you.
So stay tuned to all of the podcasts and all of the videos that they're doing as well.
All right. Cool. Thank you so much, dude.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, dude. Thank you. It's me again. I hope you guys had a great time listening to the podcast, because we at the Insporeum team, we all had a great bomb time with our guests. For those of you on Spotify, please don't forget to follow us, and for those of you on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe to us, because we have so much content gonna roll out in upcoming weeks. I'll see you guys again in the next episode.